for today, you certainly can, Mr. David.
All right. Thank you, Lee. I'm David McElwee, and I am a Polk County Commissioner, currently sitting for District 1, really kind of common North Cedartown area, North Polk County area. And let me tell you this, I'm a Christian conservative. I'm a veteran who fought in Afghanistan, in the Army for 24 years. Before I started jumping out of airplanes, I was as tall as Clay Fuller. And I've got experience at the leadership experience at the federal, state, and local levels. Good story right quick. Lee Birch and I worked together on the Governor's Drug Task Force in the 90s and put a lot of drug dealers in jail back then, which was really good for not just the state of Georgia, but our communities too. So let me say this, I want government to be effective, I want it to be efficient, and I want it to be affordable. I'm for transparency and I'm for accountability. I want to do what we can do to expand the tax base, not through raising the millage rate, but through switching over from more of a property tax, switching over to a retail tax, sales tax, right? I think that's the most fair way to go about it. And I think if we do things like that, getting things into Polk County, I know that the tax allocation district over in Cedartown that they're looking at is a
Bad idea.
I think it's a good idea. Just one, right? You're looking at $30 million of sales tax coming in. Now, I understand, when you're talking about the $10 million going to the development, supposedly for infrastructure or for site improvements or site building the site up. But currently on that property right now, we get a little over $600 a year in property tax. $600 a year in property tax. We get absolutely zero sales tax off of it, right? Yeah. But if we bring a development, and it's Publix, not just Publix, but Publix, Ross, Marshalls, we get a lot of sales tax off of that. So I think it's a good thing. And again, it's expanding the tax base. If you're looking at getting $30 million, and that's the low end, it could be $45 million, it could be $60 million that we get. The developer's saying $60 million. I don't know where to go with that number. He calls that conservative. I don't know if it is or not, but what I do know is we get absolutely zero sales tax on that. That's why I kind of support the TAD, and I've gone back and forth because, some of our other fellow commissioners, they've got a more principled stance on giving money to a developer. I understand that. I've gone back and forth myself on, and
How did you bring that up?
I know, because I think it's a good idea.
I don't.
I understand that.
Fine. Okay, I'll explain
And
that.
I understand. Again, there's a principal side to it, and I understand that, but there's also a principal side to not getting that sales tax in, giving the relief to the taxpayer, the property taxpayer. So I think that's one way to look at it. Again, I'm David McElwee, and I hope that you can support me. One other thing I want to say is Thursday night in Cedartown, and I hope you're there, Linda, I hope you're there, Lee too. Thursday night at the Lankford Center. This Thursday night, I'm hosting a Get Out the Red Vote social event. So it's really to try to support Clay and make sure that we're motivated as a county. One thing I'd like to see as far as Polk County, for us to have the highest voting percentage in the 14th district. If we can do that, if we can do that, that draws a lot of political leverage our way, right? So let's try to do that. Everybody that whether they're a Democrat or a Republican or whatever the case is, do your best to get them to go vote this week. And if they don't vote this coming week, vote Tuesday and vote for Clay Fuller. Okay? Thanks a lot.
Lankford event?
That's going to be 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
And then
5 o'clock to 9.